Hello there. This is definitely not a scuffed cast, don't worry about it. Everything's under control, and as it should be. Well, yes, we are finally here in our SDO, Sea Duckling Open, number 122. I'm Kuro, also known as 16 Squad Sanseki. I am not Light, but I do cast on this channel every now and then. Usually I'm the person behind the scenes, but since this is an amateur tournament, Light is taking the admin role for a change, and I will try my best to cover what is happening here. So, first off, we have only 2 players today, unfortunately. That's how many we got. And we decided that since that's the case, we're gonna play a best of 7, I believe, and something changed, but I believe we're playing a best of 7 to see who takes the first place and who takes the second. Again, because those are only 2 players, both of them will be getting a prize money, so order a nice payout for both. So I'm so sorry, but I have to put this lower because I'm not on my home setup, as some of you might know. I am actually currently in Australia, so I switched places with Light a little bit. And yeah, we'll see how it goes. Anyway, we can finally do intros, now that we have 2 bases for each player. But in the bottom left corner we have Kacpeross from Poland. It's so loud. And in the top right, we have Trash Cannot, also known as Werehog. And I don't know, everything is falling apart, but anyway, we have Trash Cannot or Werehog as Terran, going for his CC before the starport. And taking that gold, we are starting from a very special map. It is post-youth, and it has this very special base right in the main base. Like, basically, like it's... Do you call it a natural? I guess it's a natural, but it's technically the same base. Ooh, but the Sablings get into the base very early. That's unfortunate for Werehog, and already taking the Marine. We'll be taking the SCV down as well, as I realized that I have no health bars on at all. And the Hellion will help with the defense, but there will be some damage done by Kacpeross, so very nice start there. This is the most scout broadcast I've ever done. I am so sorry. Okay, we'll live with this for now. And Kacpeross is not giving me a break as there is more Zerglings coming, and it looks like that's all he will be making. He is taking a 3rd base though, so this will not be the full all-in, and he is taking his lair as well, droning up, so this was just some pressure put on Trash Cannot on the beginning. And yeah. We have 4 gases. He's not going Muta, is he? That would be interesting. Meanwhile, on the other side of the map, we have a Banshee on the way. We also have these Hellions, which will be used for harassment soon enough. But for the time being, we are focusing on what we have at base. So again, because Positive has this very interesting base setup, like players are incentivized to get their economy going early, and we actually are going Hydra versus Terran. Very interesting there. But once again, Kacpeross doesn't let go. There are more Zerglings on the map, but he spotted the Hellions coming in, and he has evacuated the drones, but there's not a lot of defenses here. There are these few Queens, but they won't be able to deal with all of these Hellions as they will be switching around between bases. But for now, the drones are safe. Oh, but we have another round by coming, and the Hellions are already quite damaged, so actually these Queens will be currently keeping them at bay, and Trash Cannot cannot... it cannot like rotate between the bases fast enough, so I guess he'll have to scrap the idea of getting damage with this Hellion run by. Also, apologies for not paying attention to the chat because I only have one screen at the moment and that's very hard. Chat, what if... Milk, come cast! Milk, come cast! Also, we had some beats from Chance SC. Thanks for showing us Woodlick Scrap. Some love, Ducklings. Thank you. Thank you for the beats and thank you for the good words. Yeah, the amateur tournaments is how we started. Back in 2017, we started with SDOs exactly, and since then we've been casting a lot of events. But once again, we have our players meeting in the middle. Now the Hydras are already on the map, and these Helions, I mean, they will still be useful, but they don't quite have the firepower to stop the entire army alone. So they will have to go back. There are those Banshees ready, but I don't know if Banshees are ideal versus Hydras. I guess if there is no detection, they will be definitely useful, but we do have this Overseer. And the Binding Nest is ready. And we are back. Sorry for the tech issues, because we had quite a few today, and we decided to only stream on Twitch today because clearly something is not quite right with the connection, but it's okay. We're still gonna continue our series. As a reminder, this is a best of 7. I know it doesn't say so. Hold on, let me fix that. It's a best of 7 between Kacpeross and Werehog, also known as Trash Cannot. And I am not alone, because I am now with the Yaku of the Zaku.
Saluda dobre.
Uh-huh.
Great to be back.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Yes. Anyway, yeah, Yaku will be joining me here as we are now in the second game of this series. As a reminder, our Red Zerg took the first game, but we are currently looking at our Blue Terran in the top left corner of Amphion. It is Trash Cannot, also known as Werehog.
Representing the donkeys. You'll love to see that
Yes.
emblem. And over here in the bottom left-hand corner of the map, spawning all... Yes, bottom left-hand corner. They're both at the left on this map. Spawning over here, we have our Red Zerg player. We have, currently representing themselves, as far as I can tell, Kacpeross. Kacpeross?
I have to double check it, because I don't trust my memory, but I think Kacpeross is on Team Void. But I have to check that. Yeah. But yeah, I would say it's Kacpeross, because that's how I would read it in Polish, so I'm sticking to that.
I see. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what language this word would be something in.
I mean, it's like Casper, the ghost.
That is true. Yes,
Yeah.
Kacpeross.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
like that.
so Kacper.
Yeah, and much like a ghost, and much like Casper, he's friendly until he kills you.
I don't think I watched that episode.
I may be misremembering, but I feel like in my head I want to say there was a crossover between Casper and Mr. Magoo, where Casper gave Mr. Magoo a heart attack, and then Mr. Magoo became a ghost, but still bumped around everywhere because his eyes were still closed.
I see. I still
Maybe
don't think
tripped that.
I mean, it's very possible. In case you're wondering, we get daily reports on Yaku's streams, and some of them are quite a gem. We
The ones
won't
that
go
aren't
into this.
mundane, anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, Brett's probably for the best.
Yeah.
For content.
Yeah.
Warning-wise.
Yeah. Some of them can get a little crazy, and some of them are very normal.
Yeah. Some of them are just downright offensive. Don't want to get into any of those, but in the meantime, we do have very normal things coming around from our two players here, Kacpeross, with a some very quick reactions to that Reaper harass. Very quick to turn those drones into spines.
Yeah, that he did. He did save all of the drones. I think none of them did fall down. Neither the Zerglings. It looks like he saved all of them, so very nicely done. Now he's moving to take this third base, and he does have... What's up?
It such a feels bad, man, when you move the Reaper back just as the
Uh-huh.
drone is coming in. It's like, I
I
could have
mean,
blocked that.
to be fair, he could block that, but there were the Zerglings there. There was the Queen. I think the drone was still quite safe to venture out.
Yeah. And overall, I think Werehog probably did make the better choice to bring the Reaper back home. You know, if it was me, I would have gone for the block, and I would have also floated about 1,000 minerals. But Werehog, he is prioritizing correctly, and he is making sure that his bill is coming down.
In case you're wondering, yes, this is a pillar apparently.
It's pillar, podium, it's some kind of elevation, which makes it impossible to see, apparently.
Yeah, it's good enough. Now we do have Werehog coming out now with these 2 Hellions and a Reaper. We have quite a few Zerglings on the other side of the map, but I don't know if it's quite enough to take the 2 Hellions on their own, but maybe if they can trap them.
Oh. Yeah, we're seeing a lot of a dance back and forth. Neither player wants to commit just yet. Werehog, he knows that he needs those Zerglings to line up perfectly. Kacpeross, he knows he needs to wait for a few more Zerglings. Kacpeross.
I like how that's the name that trips you up the most.
It's Polish.
It is Polish. Oh, the Zerglings getting a few good bites on the Hellions. One of them, it looks like, will be going down. The other one will be saved, but not damage done there for Werehog.
Yeah, Werehog a little bit too... Well, I don't want to say he was a little bit too overeager, but I'm pretty sure he had a couple more Hellions back at home that, yeah, he was trying to keep for defense, so... He was quite limited with when it came to what he could really get done here.
Yeah, and
But now we do have the Banshee out.
Yeah, it looks like once again he will be going for those Cloak Banshees. Let's just say the Cloak Banshees didn't do well last time. And by that I mean Kacpeross is going Hydras. He did it last time as well, and you think, but hold on, those are Cloak Banshees, they will be safe. Nah, there was an Overseer. There was an Overseer.
Yeah. There's always an Overseer. I'm liking what I'm seeing so far from Kacpeross. Well, it's been a while, I think, since I was able to cast Mio Micah, so I'm glad that we're still having the spirit of Mio live on in some of our Zerg players here.
Yeah,
That's
I was...
straight up Hydra Ling. No armor upgrades coming out right now from Kacpeross. Pure melee and range.
I mean, why do you need armor upgrades if you can just kill them first?
That's math.
Have you
That's
thought about that?
Ah.
But yeah, the
You think
Hellions...
you want your units to live? They don't need to live, as long as they take lives with them.
I mean, they do have to get to them first, especially the Zerglings.
Oh.
So
That
yeah,
would make sense.
that's a bit of a pain. But anyway, yeah, Kacpeross is well prepared. He's getting his Hydras on the way. He's getting that Baneling nest as well, because I believe just like last game, Werehog will be going for that bio tank with the support of Banshees, and for now he's just harassing with the Hellions until he builds up that army.
My man. Very standard Terran things we see from Werehog right now.
What, the Reaper finally gets taken down.
F's in the chat. Yeah, of course the job right now of these Hellions is to just sort of poke and prod around. He is doing what he's meant to do with them, which is to just try to shave off the Ling count and try to take off tumors here and there wherever he can. A little bit of mismicroing here, or miscontrol here, when it comes to the Banshees, it seems.
Well, the good news is the Banshees did... The good news is the Banshees did survive because there was no detection in time and they were able to escape those Hydras. They're wasting the energy a little bit, chilling there, but still.
Yeah, they've got a lot of energy. They're fine.
Okay, hold on, as we quickly put Yaku up. That's a very scary thing to do, but we'll try. But I think I missed the Banshee going down. No, okay. It was just a Hellion.
I guess it was a Hellion,
Yeah, I was like, oh no.
Yeah, Hellions are cheap. We don't,
No, the thing
we
is,
don't need to mark when they go down.
the thing is that I only have one screen, so whenever I change settings, I have to alt tab out of the game. And like, I just hear something exploding, like, oh no. Yeah, looks like the Banshees will be joining together with the army this time and facing this Ling Bane Hydra threat together. Actually, there's There's barely any Zerglings left. It's all Banelings.
Yeah, it's all Banelings, and as a reminder, it's Banelings without any armor on them. A single tank with a single volley could probably deal. Oh, well, I was gonna say could probably deal with them pretty well, but I don't think Werehog. Yeah, he doesn't have vehicle weapons just yet. He does have 1/1 on this bio, so that's gonna be helping him out a ton. He will be able to survive 1 or 2 Baneling connections.
Yeah, it looks like ooh, the army does not survive a lot of those connections because again there was a lot of Banelings, and now Werehog is forced to go back. He does have a tank to save himself at home, so there will be no Zerglings running in straight into the base, but that was quite a costly attack.
Very, very much so. Very nicely done here for Kacpeross to see a little bit of an opening, see 2 of those tanks unsieged, and to recognize that he can just pounce on top of that, completely wipe it out, and completely halt all of Werehog's momentum. He was really banking on that initial 1/1 timing to do a lot of damage. Oh, full medevac full of Marine Souls who gets taken out. That is the power of going for early Hydras like this.
Yeah, he even picked up that single Marine that was left off, but kind of forgot to take the medevac back home, and unfortunately he did fall prey to those Hydras. This Banshee is getting some nice damage done, just, dancing around these minerals, and it will be once again joining with the army. It looks like Kacpeross is quite out of position, but this may be a trap.
Maybe, potentially. 2 UC scans being thrown down, not covering where the actual army is. Werehog's army is looking minuscule right now, but Trash cannot. Or Kacpeross, sorry, does have a very fragile army on top of him. More reinforcements from Werehog are starting to come through. These Marines, they need to land, and they will unload, and they will chase this army down. But hang on, fresh reinforcement of Banelings just finished up, and without any tanks, Werehog knows that he cannot take this fight.
Yeah, once again, all the tanks are gone. They are free at home, so there will be reinforcements for Werehog, but they were not there together with the fight. And I mean, those tanks are really what's helping with this fight, because all of these units, as a reminder, all of those units are light. Actually, do Banelings have the light tag? Banelings have a light tag, right?
They do, yeah. They take extra damage from Hellions, so
Okay.
they have the light tag on them.
I don't know, that
Depths as well.
keeps changing. Ooh, even Kacpeross actually catching a drop on the side of the map as well, so that's very nicely done. He really does well, like, capturing everything that is going on the map.
Yeah, I feel like Kacpeross has been doing a really good job of just keeping active with small forces of Hydras here and there. Just even looking at the minimap, he's got a very nice spread of Overseers or Overlords where his creep isn't at right now, so he does have a lot of vision.
That he
Werehog
does.
is playing... Yeah, Werehog is kept very much in the dark here.
And he's rotating his army around his base, but Kacpeross is running straight in, and he is up a ramp. The tanks are not sieged, but there is a lot of them, but that doesn't help from losing this base.
Yeah, not at all. We can really see the lack of armor upgrades really starting to hurt Kacpeross a little bit with that planetary fortress. Those Zerglings pretty much evaporated.
Oh yeah.
Fortunately for Werehog, his attention was elsewhere a little bit, and yeah, wasn't quite quick enough on the repair. Now we have lurkers coming out though.
We have, but that's a ballsy move to just morph them straight on top of the ramp, and it looks like Werehog will try to catch them, but some of them will finish, but not a lot of them.
How does the old saying go? Lurkers are like siege tanks, but worse.
Yes, that's exactly what Light said.
100% true, but yeah, we're seeing that being true right now.
I mean, definitely tanks are working out better for Trashkanot here, as we do have a few lurkers, but they're not quite in range with the army to deal with it. The tanks are slowly leapfrogging forward, the lurkers trying to go around, but they still can get a good angle.
Yeah, not quite yet anyway. Oh, that might have been a little bit of premature load up. Ah, I see why he loaded up. There was that one lurker there.
Yeah, there was a lurker as part of this frontal attack, and it I don't know if it helped, to be entirely honest. It was just kind of there.
It was a morale shocker, you know?
True. It's there to scare the opponent.
Exactly. seeing a decent spread here coming out from Kacpeross. Does Kacpeross actually have lurker range?
No, I don't think he does.
He does.
Oh, he does.
Huh. Lurkers have a lot shorter of a range than I remember them having. But now that we see them actually in range of the bio army, yeah, that's how
Ooh.
terrifying they really can be.
Those were some really nice snipes on the medivacs as well. Clearly targeting all of the transport there, and some nice damage done for Kacpeross, but it's still not the end of the Terran army, and he does have a lot, but is it enough?
Well, are they in the right place is going to be the question.
True.
Because I do feel like the power to Terran Bio. GG's call. Kacpeross will take game number 2. It's now up 2-0 in the best of 7. Yeah, very nicely done from Kacpeross. I do feel like a lot of the kind of issues here for Werehog so far is that he has been doing a really good job when it comes to the macro. It's just, unfortunately, his army isn't quite where it needs to be. Yeah, he is producing a lot of units. He is producing a lot of powerful units.
Mm-hmm.
They're just not where they should be.
Yeah, I wonder if it's also a bit of a positioning thing, because he does lose like big armies quite often. And like, you know, then he has to remake an army, and like he kind of plays like a Zerg, you know? Where you make an army, you just run it into the opponent and you lose it and you make another army. And like he's able to make a lot of those armies, but he's not a Zerg.
Yeah, I learned that the hard way as well. When I was transitioning from back when I was doing literally nothing but 3 racks Marines. Eventually I hit a point where I realized, oh, so Terran isn't Zerg. I need to actually, you know, build factories.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of like
I need to actually have to position stuff.
That's kind of like the Zerg thing, where, I mean, essentially it's the swarm, right? So the swarm just, you know, keeps attacking with waves, and Terran can also do waves, but it's good if you save a little bit more than usual. Like, it's good if you save the tanks at least, because they do take quite a lot of time to make, right?
Yeah, definitely. And they are kind of the backbone of a Terran army, especially against Banelings and Hydras. And as we saw as well, Lurkers in the early stage of Lurker play, they really can, when they are put in good positions and when you do have enough of them, they really can they definitely outrange Lurkers, but what am I thinking of here, Kuro? They out something Lurkers. Look,
They do
tanks are like
outrange.
Lurkers, but better.
I think they do outrange. I think that's a good description.
Yeah. Tanks, the backbone of the Terran army, and a lot of compositions. Again, I learned that the hard way back in the coaching days with Milk and Cookies. If I lost my Terran backbone, he would whack my backbone.
Okay. I cannot confirm or deny that that happened. But I will
Illegal
say...
reasons, I get it, Kuro.
I will say something I do happen, and I kind of miss it, is... That is actually true that Milk would coach the rest of the team. And the thing is, because of the time zones, whenever we would have like a coaching session, it would be like late at night for him, so he couldn't actually like speak louder because he wasn't living alone. And so what he would do, he would basically do like this whisper shout, like kind of like, I think it's called like scenic shout, I don't know.
It was scarier.
Like theater shout. But like, yeah, like basically he was like whispering, screaming at you, which was hilarious. I missed that.
It was scarier.
I mean, it was funny to me.
But anyway, speaking of scary, here we are now on Alcione, the scariest map in the current map pool for reasons that I'm sure we'll
It's orange.
Discover.
Like a
It is
pumpkin.
orange. Oh, exactly. It's spooky. Anyway, here we are on Alcione. We're over here in the bottom left-hand corner of the map, starting all the way in the bottom left. Our blue Terran player coming down from the land where they are coming down. You might know them as Trash Cannot, but he is also known as Werehog, representing the donkeys.
Isn't Werehog Australian?
From Australia. There
Chat,
we go.
correct me if I'm wrong. I honestly, I don't trust my memory anymore. But anyway, on the other side of
He
the map,
will be
we have.
Australian until. Yeah,
I did
further
prove it
notice.
otherwise. On the other side of the map, we have our Red Zerg player from Poland, representing Team Void, I believe. I will double check that, but I believe it is Team Void. It is none other than Kacpeross.
Do not resist. You are being Australian.
Oh, you're being
Yeah.
Australian. Ah. Soon you will start walking upside down. Do not resist.
Oh. Soon, you're gonna be getting the shrimp on the barbie.
Okay, here's a fun fact.
Coming down.
Because everybody has heard light casting, you know, numerous times, and you know that he's Australian, he probably has a bit of an accent. But in Australia, you can actually hear the Australian accent. I am so shocked that he doesn't have this strong accent because everybody like on the street speaks like it. It's quite something.
Nah.
Oh, this Reaper is getting quite low actually.
Yeah, that's a little bit too close to the flames, but was able to pull out in time. Kacpeross.
Oh.
Having a nice little dance here with his Zerglings to be able to drone up to his heart's content.
Yeah, did lose one of the Zerglings, but it's an okay price if this drone can be safe and secure taking that base, and it looks like it will be. Yeah, just barely.
Every time we throw down the KD8 charge, it's just a split second too late. I'm convinced that was changed at some point, where drones will just be able to phase through the KD8. Correct me if I'm wrong on that.
Phase through.
But you used to be able to block it. You used to be able to block drones with your grenade.
No, I think you can still. I don't know. Because the thing is that by the time the grenade dropped, like the animation for making the building was already on.
It started.
So, I don't think it would count either way. This is where we get into like the programming of StarCraft and how does it actually work.
We'll see all of the lines.
Yes.
Of code.
What?
Yes.
Jakob? What have you been doing while you were gone from the channel?
Nothing that should be said while listening in on.
I see. I see.
Anyway, there's no gum in my house.
Oh, okay. We believe you. There is no gum in our house. Anyway, the Zerglings are now jumping straight on top of these Hellions. They will get one of them, which is really nice, but a lot of them are also going down.
Yeah, some really nice lineups here coming out from Werehog. Will be losing his Reaper as well, unfortunately, and Kacpeross, you know, he has kind of hit where he needs to be economy-wise. He's building up a whole ton of lings just to keep himself safe. And we should be seeing more drones get thrown down. That's a third and a... Yeah, okay, that's a second and a third gas. Okay, we don't have to fear too much.
Yeah, cool. I think we're going for the same build as game 1 and game 2. So Kacpeross, Link Bay Hydra, and Werehog or Chashkanot for the bio tank with Banshees.
Yeah, very standard stuff here. Well, more standard from the side of Werehog than Kacpeross.
Definitely. Hydras are not that common, and these Hellions are actually able to kite these Zerglings quite easy. Almost all of them going down. Only one survivor is trying to escape and get back home to tell the tale.
Yeah, very good pickoff here from Werehog. I think he might have been able to chase this down back home. Kacpeross doesn't really have much of a map presence. He's pretty much forfeit his entire map control, but again, Werehog, he does like to play things safe from the looks of things, and yeah, he just wants to make sure that his his macro foundation is secure before he really shifts his attention onto the map.
So yeah, cool. What do you think about continuing to go Banshees versus Hydras?
I like Liberators a bit more. I mean, Banshees versus
Sure.
Hydras isn't that bad. It's you can, especially when your Zerg opponent is kind of rushing into Hydras like this. You know, they cannot possibly afford to have a good amount of Hydras split out across the map. So if you were to split up your Banshees, or if you were to harass with your Banshees while separately attacking with your Hellions as well, then I think there's a lot of opportunity here for Werehog to actually get a lot of drone damage done. Potentially take out a building or two, but yeah, for the time being, he is just moving across the map with them, and Kacpeross is having a pretty easy time dealing with them by just moving the Hydras around, moving the Queens around, having Spores in position.
Yeah, I definitely think that the Banshees could be a very good like distraction force. Essentially, when you have like a drop or like a frontal push coming in, and the Banshees, you know, coming from the back, getting some drones, kind of like we saw in the previous game. I definitely think like that's their main
Yeah.
potential there.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Oh, Burrow.
So, that is interesting. So we don't have a Roach Warren. Huh.
Do you think that's a
I mean,
misclick?
it's... What else would he be researching right now, though?
I mean...
Does he have Pneumatize? He doesn't, so maybe that. He's getting Pneumatize. He is researching Pneumatize Carapace,
Yeah.
but he's also separately researching Burrow. This is intentional.
But, I mean, but with Linkbane Hydra? For Baneling Mines?
It's possible, you know, Baneling Mines, that's a good use of the Burrow as well. You know, maybe he might get lucky, there might not be scans available, he could burrow down and be able to escape with most of his forces. That is a very unfortunate trade here for Kacpeross. A very good one for Werehog, though.
I'm not sure if you fully realize where his army was stepping, as he unfortunately ran straight into the army of Werehog, and most of the army just got crushed on top of the tanks, and now his bases are in danger.
Very much so in danger. I mean, just looking at the army supply difference right now, Werehog is up about 30 army supply, and this is a powerful Bio-Terran army that Kacpeross is not equipped to deal with at all. He has a tech. He can potentially start getting more Lings, more Banelings to deal with this, but his economy just isn't quite there yet.
Yeah, and the Banshees can now deal a lot of damage, but ooh, actually both of them get taken down, but not before dealing some damage in that other side of the bases of Kacpeross. And Werehog actually moved back. I don't know if that's good.
Yeah, gonna regroup with the rest of his army. I definitely do think that he had the opportunity to keep this going. He had the opportunity to just continue pushing. But on the plus side, Kacpeross also doesn't have that much of an economy to really fully rebuild. So Werehog can still get a lot done, pulling back with his Marines. He's pulling back into a wall, though! Banelings are going back and forth, however. None of them, a couple of them will connect, but that's the entire Zerg army being taken out.
Yeah, like that was a big loss for Werehog, but at the same time, his army is still standing and he still has 3 of these tanks together with a few of the Marines, and Kacpeross has to make an army, has to make it quick, but before he morphs on the Banelings and stuff, like, it will be quite a while.
Yeah, it was a huge loss here from Werehog, but it was an even bigger loss for Kacpeross. Thrown away basically the entirety of his army, really. Not just Lings, not just Veins, but also Hydras. He's trying to remake Hydras now, and he is getting a Lurker Den, but I'm not convinced that that's going to be the most effective use of his resources right now.
Yeah, with that many tanks, I don't think the Lurkers will quite do the job, because one scan is enough and the tanks should be able to deal with them. We have more Marines coming in as well. The reinforcements are now ready for Werehog, and I just don't think this army is quite strong enough.
Oh, but he is on siege. Werehog is on siege. There are a lot of Lings here. Not that many Banelings, but the Lurkers alone are going to be enough to force Werehog into unloading or into lifting up his bio. The tanks do get dealt with. And now we're seeing Kacpeross reinforced with a ton of Lings. I think he should be able to save this now. And all of the medevacs, there aren't that many Hydras. But when the medevacs are just sitting alone like that, they are sitting ducks. And all of a sudden, the supply is starting to even out, Kuro.
Yeah, that was a really key moment for Kacpeross. He waited just at for the right moment where the tanks were unsieged, and he was able to clean up entire army together with the medivacs, together with everything. There are reinforcements from Werehog coming, but he definitely bought at least a lot of time.
Yeah, without a doubt. He bought enough time to get himself more Hydras, to get himself more Lurkers. Still a little bit lacking when it comes to Banelings. He is really, really starved when it comes to gas. That is just how expensive of a unit composition he's going for right now. But now he's getting ready for round 2. Ducklings will be able to get a little bit of a surround. The unsiege at such an unfortunate timing.
Yeah, there are no Banelings here, but there are also not that many Marines. There are actually mostly Marauders in his army, and the Lurkers will be able to deal with them, and Werehog is forced to pick up what he can.
Yeah, pick up, go back home, try again. Now, something does have to be stated here for Werehog, however, is that he has been doing a really good job of containing Kacpeross so far. Kacpeross has really only been able to mine from 3 bases for the majority of this game, even though he is now trying to double expand, getting his 4th and his 5th. Werehog, on the other hand, he's already setting up on his 5th base. That is terrifying for a Zerg player to see.
Okay, this
Playing
is funny.
against a Terran player like this. Nothing shoots up.
It's like even the medivac went there to reveal the Overlord, but it's just an army of Marauders staring at. It's like, guys, does anyone have a gun? Oh, okay.
One man had a gun. That was enough.
Oh, nice cancel. But
yeah,
I don't know if
very
it was
ambitious
necessary.
Here from Kacpeross. Probably not.
Yeah, because the whole army is on the other side of the minerals. I think Werehog could let himself have this base before. I guess the Lurkers would be a bit of a problem if they could reach the mineral line, but even then, I think he has a solid position here.
Yeah, I would definitely agree. You know, these are vanilla Lurkers, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, completely vanilla Lurkers. It would take a little bit longer to get in position to borrow. There's no creep, so they actually move pretty slow as well.
Yeah, that's something important to point out, because in the previous games, because Kacpeross had a bit more freedom in movement on the map, he actually made sure that there was creep on the entire map, there were overlords everywhere, and right now we do have some overlords here and there, but definitely not as much vision as in the previous games.
Yeah, it's interesting to see how things have kind of shifted here, as it really does go back to the fact that Kacpeross has never quite been able to get comfortable so far in this game. You know, Werehog has been pretty successful with his first push and just kind of kept the gas going, just kind of kept his foot on the pedal.
Yeah, and you can see that these engagements are now going much better for Werehog as he able to hold the Zerg army. Unfortunately, he doesn't notice the link run by, and he will lose a lot of SCVs for it. A lot of SCVs.
A lot of SCVs that aren't mining. There we go. Got back to work. Yeah, he will lose a lot of SCVs for that, but I mean, Werehog is in a position where he has so many bases that he's already caught back up. Kacpeross will be overtaking a little bit when it comes to the drone count, but considering how many losses he's taken here in the front lines, I think that's actually going to come back to bite him. He is so far behind in the army supply. These Baneling mines are really going to have to pull a lot off, and they will not. They will get scanned. They will get taken out by the Marauders.
Yeah, the big part is that if you remember, in the previous games we had bio tank, but it was mostly marine tank. Meanwhile, this time the majority of the army is Marauders, so those Banelings are not quite as effective as they used to be, and even the Lurkers don't seem that scary.
Yeah, unironically, Massling will probably be really good right now. Massling, Lurkers, and Kacpeross is getting a lot of good connections with his Banelings, but he just doesn't have the army or enough of an army to follow up on this. Yeah, Werehog, through the power of his economy, still far ahead in the military supply.
Yeah, the tanks still stand. The Liberators are now sieging right in the middle of the bases, and Kacpeross is struggling to get any army together.
Yeah, he's trying to get a Viper out, but I'm not convinced it's going to do much at this point. He can yoink these siege units, but what is he gonna yoink them into? What's gonna actually kill them after they get yoinked?
Yeah, actually, how many units does he have? He has 1 Viper, 2 Queens, and 2 Zerglings. That's the army.
That's all.
He's making 12 Hydras, which is nice, but we have a huge cluster of tanks here. So I don't think that the Hydras are even getting there.
I want to believe that with good blinding clouds, the Hydras can get
Maybe.
on top of these Liberators. I mean, like you said, the tanks are very much clumped up. It wouldn't take that much energy to really deal with them.
Yeah, unfortunately, it looks like the Hydras mostly hatch at different hatcheries, and that will be the end of the game as Werehog is taking his first game of the series.
GG. Nicely done here. Can really see the difference it makes when, you know, that initial 1-1 timing is when you're able to really hit with that 1-1 timing and you're really able to stagger the game plan of the Zerg player here. It's kind of what this build from Terran is meant to do. Werehog doing just such a brilliant job of containing Kacpeross on those 3 bases for so long. There are definitely times where...
No, I was like that was really the difference between the first 2 games and the third game was that Werehog kind of contained Kacpeross to his side of the map, and it definitely worked out so much better for him.
Yeah, and you could see that Kacpeross as well. He was still kind of going for the same, or trying to go for the same unit composition, the Hydra, Lingbane into Lurkers, but that's a very expensive army that you have on your hands there. That's a very gas-intensive army that you're not really going to be able to get away with on only 3 bases. So, yeah, because he kept trying to go for that, he just wasn't able to get enough units out in time. He just wasn't able to mount up much of a defense. Well, I say that, but Kacpeross did hold quite a number of times where I thought he was dead, where I thought that Werehog really had him dead to rights, really had him pressed against the wall, but 1 or 2 key Baneling connections was all it took for Kacpeross to be able to hold. But in the end, holding just isn't enough when you're going for a gas-intensive composition like that. You have to hold, and you have to make sure that your bases stay alive.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I mostly like think back about like all the Banelings. I mean, the Banelings did a good job, but I feel like the Marauder switch was really what killed the damage of the Banelings.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
And then like ever since the Marauder waves came, like Kacpeross was just not able to keep going.
Yeah. Not at all. Not with Hydras and Lurkers anyway, and Banelings as well.
It did feel like the army needed some more, like some different support.
A lot of lings, that's what I say. But at the same time, you know, from that position onwards, it is kind of hard to get enough lings together, especially when you're upgrading offensively instead of defensively, right? When you're getting +1, +2, +3 melee and range, but you're still on +0 armor or carapace. You're not quite going to be able to get those. You're not quite going to be able to get those Zerglings to surround your Terran opponent's units. It is a tad unfortunate.
As our players are taking a little bit of a break, make sure you stretch and hydrate your Hydras. Yes, I know I'm not doing the whole thing, but it's okay.
Look. Should have stretch.
Yes.
Your roaches.
Yes.
Need to hydrate your Hydras. Drain your disruptors, but you know, where it's appropriate. And when it's appropriate. You don't want to be draining your disruptors now and missing out on game number 4 that we're about to load into.
Yes. As a reminder, this is a best of 7. And both of these players are getting a payout.
They are. Even without the raffle.
Yeah, here's the fun fact. We also have the raffle, so it's very possible that they will get similar payout. I mean, similar. No, actually, no. Yeah, if the second place gets the payout, then they both get $10.
There we go. There we go. Anyway. Anyway, we're going to be continuing our series now on Golden Aura. We're here in the bottom right-hand corner map, spawning all the way in the bottom right. We, of course, have our blue Terran player coming down from the land of Australia. He's going to be representing the donkeys. Saw. I forgot what donkeys sound like. Burro. We have Werehog, otherwise known as Trash Cannot.
And on the other side of Golden Aura LE, we have our Red Zerg player, currently up to 1 in the series. It is from Poland, Kacpeross.
Until further notice, on Clan Team Void.
Yeah, I think it's Team Void. I would have to look it up. Because the thing is that because we are playing on Americas, like obviously some of the clans are not there, not present, because they may be like server specific, or maybe just, you know, like the players don't use these accounts quite as often as like the European accounts or like other servers. So the clan tags are not always there, but I believe I saw him on Team Void.
I choose to believe as well.
Someone confirmed that in the chat, or deny.
Or do neither, and just let us believe, you know?
Yeah, true.
Team Void, that's a relatively new team? Question mark?
I'm not sure if it's new, but the first time I've seen Team Void was actually when we were casting Wojtek, if you remember.
Ah, the first time we cast it. The first time we cast it, Logitech?
No, Wojtek.
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 Logitech.
There's a V. It's Voy. It's Wojtek.
Wojtek.
There you go. Good job, Jakub. Oh my god. But yeah, there was another Polish player that played in quite a few of our amateur tournaments, and oh, actually looks like Werehog will be able to deny this base for a little bit.
Yes! I'm so happy I got to witness that. That's all I wanted to see, Kuro. Not quite a hatchery block, you know, I think the drone would have been able to get the hatchery anyway, but that was perfectly timed. It was timed right, and you got to see the drone just get blown the heck back.
Yes, also apologies to the chat for not switching the scene. I just got a little goblin come here and tell me about the scene. So we're all good.
Goblin cam.
Don't worry about it. Look, here at CranKy Duckling Pond, sometimes we have working goblins, okay? Apoptosis would be proud.
They're digging. Some of our goblins should be retired, but you know, they are passionate.
I mean, look, some of the goblins like their gold nuggets, okay?
They do.
Yeah.
Who doesn't like a good nugget here and there?
Yeah. You just let them have it.
Yeah.
But we also have other working goblins. Like sometimes I'm the working goblin, so you know.
Yeah. Sometimes overworked goblins, you know.
Sometimes. Anyway, Yako. I was about to say we're going for the same thing, but I don't think we are. We're seeing a much earlier Baneling Nest this time.
Yeah, that's a Baneling Nest before the lair is even done. Which is quite odd to see here from Kacpeross, but not odd to see in a normal ZVT.
Do you think this is just like an upgrade to the strategy where he gets the Banelings earlier and he will still go for Hydras and Lurkers? Ooh,
yeah,
that's a nice denial. We just dealt with all of the Hellions.
Yeah, there's really good surround, really good use of the really good use of baiting out the SimCity as well, I would say, here from Kacpeross, but I 100% am with you here, Kuro. I think that this is just a little bit of an adaptation here from Kacpeross. He's getting the Baneling Nest a little bit earlier to have a little bit of a stronger defense, but eventually, there we go. We got the Hydra Den. Eventually, we're going to get the Lurker Den. Eventually, we're going to get a whole lot of Lurkers out.
Yeah, it seems like a bit of an adjustment of the strategy to, you know, maybe get some damage done earlier, maybe some run-bys here and there, we'll see.
Yeah, that's definitely one thing I'm liking a lot more from Kacpeross, and it's definitely something that I think his build allows him to do a lot more this time, is he is being very active on the map with these initial lings. He's getting 20 more lings, and here the wall is not a wall. These lings are getting in the natural.
Yeah, they're getting straight in, and a lot of these SCVs will be going down. The Banshee is trying to help, but it was actually hitting the orbital for a little bit, so not quite helpful there, and the wall is still open.
Oof. The wall at the natural is still open, but the wall at the main is closed. These SCVs just wanted to retreat, but they were backed into a corner. Werehog's going to lose his entire mineral line. 2 Banshees are out there. He will finally be able to deal with this. Meanwhile, the Hellions of Werehog actually went down across the map to more lings and to queens. They did not deal any reciprocating damage. Kacpeross is in a much better position than he was in game number 3.
By the way, I'll be honest, I didn't know that you can even squeeze the units in here.
Yeah.
They just all just cuddle the wall.
It's a tight fit, but we make it work, you know?
And they did.
It's like when you're piling on the entire extended family into a road trip.
Uh-huh.
Everybody in the van.
Oh, I see.
Sometimes it's not even a van.
Ooh, the Banshees unfortunately ran straight into the Hydras. One of them is taken down, the other one is damaged, but they survive for now. At the same time, we have even more Link run-bys being prepared.
Yeah, Ling run-bys, potentially Bane Ling run-bys as well. Werehog in a very exposed position here with his third base. It's interesting to see him take this instead of the more linear one, but you know, it does give him a little bit more of a forward position on the map. It does allow him to position his tanks a little bit closer to the middle of the map, to the center of the map. The Lings do come in. They will take out a mule, a couple more SCVs, even more SCVs.
Yeah, the run-by is eventually being dealt with, but unfortunately the army was not there in time. But now we have the second wave of the attack. Ooh, the Banelings do connect.
Yeah, they do connect with the Marines. The tank is able to deal with most of the Zerglings, however, so yeah, there's not a lot more that Kacpeross can do with this army, but he's kind of turning the tables on Werehog compared to the previous game. Now he's the one containing Werehog, making sure that he can never get enough of an economy going to actually fuel his unit composition of choice, which is going to be Biotank.
At the same time as Werehog is struggling to take his third base, Kacpeross already has his fifth.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the army is still at the door.
A scary economy. Still at the door. The door is... I mean, it's still open, but he's got tanks guarding it, you know?
Yeah. I mean...
He's got tanks, he's got Marines.
Important thing about the Link Hydra is that it's a very squishy army. Like, it does a lot of damage, but tanks deal with it quite well in the right numbers.
Yeah. And the right number is pretty low when you're not investing in Carapace again.
But they are not sieged.
They are unsieged. Yeah.
This is so scary.
There's not that many Banelings. Nope, never mind. That's a lot of Banelings being morphed in.
Yep.
This is every Terran player's nightmare. He is starting to move out. Werehog is starting to position himself. He wants to push out across the map by the looks of things. But this is the exact wrong time to be pushing out. This is the exact wrong time to be on siege. As Kacpeross will get on top of this army, will surround all the tanks with his Lings. Will not quite be able to get on top of these Marines. Very good use of the choke point here from Werehog, but there's just way too much Zerg here for him to deal with. The Zerg will bust through. Kacpeross will take game number 4, will find himself one map away from becoming our next champion, our Sea Duckling Open number 122 champion.
Yeah, very nicely done by Kacpeross. That was a nice use of the choke point by Werehog, but unfortunately the Marines being in the choke point also meant that the wall was not able to close, so it unfortunately stayed open once the Marines were dealt with. Like, the Zerglings just had freeway into the base, and yeah, there was that.
Yeah, that's pretty much all she wrote there. Very, very good use of the lings like Kacpeross produced early on. Again, I feel like that's kind of a big difference that we're seeing between our two players. Kacpeross just knows when to take an opportunity here. He's kind of got that killer instinct in him. He saw that the wall wasn't the wall. He just went straight for the natural, allowed his lings to deal as much damage as possible, and then just shifted his attention back home where Werehog was trying to reciprocate that damage. Again, he already sent his Hellions all the way across the map. It would have taken a while for him to send them back home, so his decision right there was to deal damage. But Kacpeross was just doing way too good of a job of chasing after those Hellions with his lings, chasing after them with his, making sure that they couldn't get in the middle lines by body blocking with his queens. There's definitely attention to detail here from Kacpeross.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Nicely done there. And at this time, currently, as a reminder, Kacpeross is on match point. Just one more game win, and he will be the winner of SDO 122. So I guess now we will see if he can do it, or if Trash cannot, aka Werehog, will be able to tie this up.
If he trash can.
Ah.
We're continuing our series now on Crimson Court. Where we're here in the top right-hand corner of the map, spawning all the way in the top right-hand corner. We have our red Zerg player coming out from the land of Poland, potentially representing Team Void until further notice. We have our player who is on match point, who only needs one more GG to become our next champion. We have Kacpeross.
And on the bottom left side of Crimson card, we have our blue Terran player representing the Donkeys. And we think Australia? Not 100% sure on that, but it is. Trash cannot, but can Werehog. There was grammar in there somewhere, I swear.
Yeah. Trash cannot, but can. I like that name, actually.
It's a fun name.
Werehog somewhere, you know?
I wonder how that name
Yeah, I like quite a
became a thing. Like,
But
what does that
Werehog?
name mean?
Trash cannot?
Yeah, is it because trash can, but trash cannot? Like,
Yeah, you know the old saying from the wise elders of Tumblr.
mm-hmm.
It's trash can, not trash cannot. You may be trash, but you can be recycled.
That is something that Crank said, and I still think it's hilarious.
Yeah, it's around the same lines, isn't it?
Yeah, for the viewers who don't know,
But
Crank did once say on stream that he is trash, but he can be recycled.
exactly.
I mean, that's a good side, right?
Yeah, it's a sign of determination. Not a very good sign of self-esteem, I think, but a good sign of determination.
I mean, what do you mean? Like if he can be recycled, that means like he's worth something, right?
Yeah,
Because like there's still something that he can do.
exactly. There's still something in you that's desirable, that can be used to be whatchamacallit, you know? I'm not really sure how recycling works.
I mean, it's just get the materials back. Well, that's some intense
Yeah.
blocking going on in this third base.
You'll love to see it. Kacpeross will get a little bit delayed, but in the end, we'll be able to get this Cert base without too much issue. Werehog, at the very least, and despite losing the SCV, will save the Reaper, which is something you don't want to underestimate as the game continues. You know, Reapers sneak in, they can sneak in for a scout, they can provide a little bit of crowd control with the KD8 charge. Sometimes it's nice to be able to knock the Queen out of the way and get the Hellions in position. Sometimes it just flat out allows you to win the game right there and there.
I definitely didn't forget about Sin. Don't worry about it. Everything is fine.
You miss nothing, chat.
I'm sorry, chat.
You miss nothing. We described described it well enough. We described it well enough.
Listen, this is first world problems, but I got so used to having a second screen where I can always look at the preview to make sure that everything is right, that now that I only have one, it's just so hard for me. Like, I have no idea what's going on. I'm so lost.
Tis the first world problems that we're facing.
But yeah, we are now on correct scene, I believe, and we also have our players in the right places. They are trying to harass, seeing what they can do, and, you know, getting their builds ready, and they are the same builds.
Yeah. Still a little bit of an earlier Baneliness coming up from Kacpeross compared to the first couple of games that he went through, but this time he did opt for the lair before throwing down the Baneliness. I guess just wants to really sync up his Hydra and his Baneling upgrades.
Yeah, that is actually really cool. At least, like, kind of like adjusting the build, like, you know, during the series. Like, oh, like last game it worked better for him when he had earlier Baneling, so he made the Baneling nest a bit earlier.
Yeah.
And also,
I just realized that.
Yeah, also Werehog is changing it up a bit as he's getting these Hellions all bunched up.
That's a huge change, as a matter of fact. Yeah, it does bunch them up a little bit. One Queen very, very low. Werehog, unfortunately, he was focused a little bit more on his defense back home, by the looks of things. A couple of SCVs do start to go down. So, it is unfortunate that he wasn't quite able to go in with his Hellions. He was forced to look elsewhere on the map. Meanwhile, we do see both of our players just setting up over here. Crimson Court, both on 3 bases, both saturating their bases. This one Queen, the luckiest Queen in the world. Just barely survived. Doesn't need transfuse.
Nah,
she's stuff like that.
Yeah.
She was offered transfuse, but she said no.
No. See, instead of a transfuse, she was offered a nice retirement plan at the hatchery.
There we go. Made the right choice. All she needs to do is kind of just, inject.
Yeah, and make sure the Banshees don't get into bases now. Right now, they are trying to get into the main instead. There is a sport there, but not many units.
Only a single Queen here for defense. So Werehog able to get a couple of good pickoffs here, able to wipe out the extractor, or at least wipe out the workers in the extractor. The extractor itself still standing strong. Important part is Werehog kept those Banshees alive.
Yeah, that's very good because I mean we did see those Banshees do fall quite often, but this time they will be saved and they will definitely be a nice asset once Werehog decides to move out. But something that we did pay attention to the previous games is how Werehog, in the one game that he won, he did like kept Kacpeross on his side of the map, and this time we already see the creep halfway across.
Yeah, it's a bit of a longer map, but it's a bit of a narrow map, so creep might take a little bit longer to get around to get across the map. But on the plus side, you don't have to spread it everywhere. Kacpeross already with that middle base has a nice little freeway into straight into Werehog's door.
Yeah, the creep highway is getting quite out there, and Actually, this may start getting quite uncomfortable for the Terran as it's almost at his door. He does have quite a good army right now, but still, if he runs into Banelings with the tanks on siege, it may be quite tough.
Yeah, especially with the lack of tanks that he actually has right now. 3 tanks? That's about what you would expect for a 1-1 timing push. Which I guess is what Werehog is trying to go for this time as well, but did get a little bit delayed due to being harassed earlier on.
Yeah, and the Banelings are already right on the bottom of the ramp, and I sure hope that Werehog is paying attention as he's moving out, because this small army will run straight into the Zerg.
Thing. And that's not a small army to really scoff at. That's an army that has 1/3 of Werehog's total tank count. Werehog trying to regroup right now. He does have a tank sieged up back at home, but Kacpeross knows that he doesn't have to chase this.
Yeah, just, you know,
He's just gonna back away.
keeping Werehog busy, making sure that push doesn't come too early, and at the same time though, this is a big army, and there's even more of it, and I feel like Kacpeross doesn't quite have enough units to deal with it right now.
Yeah, he's lacking a lot when it comes to Zerglings to really act as a buffer for his Banelings and especially for his Hydras.
Yeah, I mean, Kacpeross really focused on getting his tech up. He once again got this lurker, then he's getting the burrow, but he might have not gotten enough units. But let's see, as he's rolling straight into the Terran, but the Banelings are all out, and there's still more bio left over.
Yeah, those are some decent connections for Kacpeross, but you said it, Kuro, there was more than enough bio left over. There's still a couple of tanks that were hanging in the back line that were able to get their volleys off. Kacpeross getting a couple of free pickoffs here and there, but again, with that Overseer, he scouts the size of Werehog's army. He knows that he cannot push into that just yet.
Yeah, he's getting the lurkers ready, but it won't be easy to get lurkers in a good position here, because as you said, we have this like single line of attack, and it's not ideal for lurkers considering the tanks do outrange them.
Yeah, this is gonna be so funny to watch, though. To see the lurkers and the tanks going at each other. It's a very narrow map that we have here. Here comes the code. The medevacs were papped, not with the army, and so all of them will go down. The fighting units of Werehog do stay alive, but there's nothing to really sustain them here. Werehog needs to be so careful with his stims.
Yeah, all of those medevacs did go down, and now the army is that much weaker. The drop is doing some damage on the east side, but at the same time, Werehog is losing a lot of SCVs on the west, and there are still Zerglings in the base.
I love this usage of Burrow coming out here from Kacpeross. He's just able to threaten the bases here and there. He pulls the entire Terran army back on home. And he's stimmed to get back home as well, so these medevacs are very quickly going to be running out of energy. Werehog has kept his tanks alive, which is definitely important. You want to have that solid foundation and backbone to your Terran army. But all of the momentum that he's been building up in his initial push has been completely forfeit. Kacpeross now able to set up back at home, now able to get his lurkers in good positions. A little bit ambitious, admittedly, trying to get this for 7th base up and running. But he doesn't really need it. He has 6 bases, and he has his units in good positions.
Yeah, he has 6 bases, and he still has a few bases on the other side of the map, which can be safely taken as well, so he's in a pretty good place. The tanks did help Werehog quite a lot, as they actually stopped an attack from Kacpeross coming, as he was dealing with the Zerglings in the meantime, but the army of the Zerg is starting to snowball.
Yeah, starting to really snowball out of control. This is what I was waiting for from Kacpeross. The entire time I was thinking this would be a lot easier for him to maneuver if he, took out these destructible rocks, cleared up some terrain for himself. And that's exactly what he's doing. Not just that, but I spy a cheeky little ultra down on the production tab, Kuro.
Yeah, we're getting ultras this time.
Ultras without Carapace. I want to point that out, though.
I mean, he's getting there, okay? He only just finished the ultra then.
Eventually. Yeah, just gotta give him time, you know?
Yeah, I mean, not everything at once.
We'll get there. Yeah. You run out of money if you try to do that, you know?
Yeah. But yeah,
Anyway,
very nice map awareness from Kacpeross as he spots this attack, and unfortunately for him, the Terran is able to set up, but he did take quite a good chunk of the army.
Yeah, that he did. But at the same time, Kacpeross is also losing a couple of his core units. Well, I thought he did, but he actually just burrowed. He actually just kind of burrowed them.
Yeah, a lot of these Banelings are burrowed right in the mineral line, so those were not lost. The base unfortunately was, but again, he has a lot of those.
Yeah, unfortunate lack of creep over there, and here as well, coming out here from Kacpeross, way too ambitious to push this far off of creep. And so as a result, you know, he lost, not only did he lose that base, but he's also going to lose a lot of his lurkers, a lot of his hydras, a lot of his banelings as well. The first ultra is out, and now more ultras are coming out, and that can definitely make a huge difference. But they're not as tanky as they could or honestly should be at this stage of the game.
Yeah, so the Zerglings are taking a base on the other side though, which will be a nice distraction for Kacpeross, but it looks like the army is not far. Oh, actually they're leaving.
Yeah, this is the worst timing possible to move out here for Werehog as Kacpeross just pushes in through the mineral wall. He is kind of trapped here though.
Yeah, he doesn't have anywhere to go, and these units will be forfeit. They will deal quite a lot of damage to Werehog though.
Yeah, the lurker's getting off so many volleys in that choke point. Very beautifully done there for Kacpeross. Werehog loses basically the entirety of his economy. He still has a very powerful army, which if Kacpeross isn't careful about or isn't paying too much attention to, will definitely be the final nail in his coffin. But he does have time, he does have bases, he does have mining, and he does have a lot of larvae to try to rebuild an army.
Yeah, but the problem for him is that he has angered the Terran, and now that whole army is going straight towards his bases, so he has to make sure that he has enough for the defense. The Medivac are unfortunately going down together with, I think, a Liberator.
Yeah, it was the Liberator, the only Liberator that Werehog had at this point. Werehog being very cautious. He took out that base, and he doesn't want to overextend. He knows he's very deep into creep. He does have a lot of tanks, though.
Oh yeah.
So he's gonna try.
Yeah, the tanks are definitely helpful, but he has to make sure that they're at the right positions at the right time. The Zerg army is trying to collapse on this.
And he will be able to take out the front line of tanks. There's actually a lot of bio in those medevacs, so yeah, not all of them going to be available here, but there's just so many tanks. And 0 armor upgrades for Kacpeross. He's getting +1 carapace now. And it might not be enough. Banelings do get their connections, and there's not a lot of bio left. GG is called! And Kacpeross will be taking that map, will be taking this series, will be taking this entire best-of-7 tournament. GG, very nicely done. He will be our Sea Duckling number 122 champion. GG, and look at that. He's so eager. He's asking if he can even play one more game. That's how eager he is right now. This is a man who just loves competing.
Yeah, he was waiting to play another game, but it is a best-of-7, so with the 4-1 score, Kacpeross will be taking the SDO number 122, which means he gets $10, and Werehog will be getting $5 as we have 2 players today. And
Potentially, he might get the $10 as well, though.
Potentially. We'll see about that in just a minute, but yeah, just a very nice series they played by Kacpeross, and all of that on top of Lingbane Hydra Lurker.
Yeah, who'd have thought? Who'd have thought? It feels like it kind of went out of favor a little while ago, maybe towards the end of 2023, in the middle of 2024. Who am I kidding? It was never in favor. As much as I wanted it to be. There was one point in 2017 where Hydra Baneling with some Lings as a buffer was meta. And it hasn't been since. Hasn't been since. It's been a very niche build. Only Mio Micah pretty much regularly whipped it out in ZVT.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting to still see it happen now and then. And it even won this series. I would say,
Yeah, both.
yeah, no,
Yeah, yeah. I think both players really came into this with a specific strategy to go about their series against each other. But in the end, we did see little tiny adjustments here and there, little tiny things to
yeah,
switch up that ended up working better for both of them.
yeah,
More
like
for Kacpeross, but
like I mean, obviously, but like Kacpeross had this like binding adjustment, like he included burrow in few of the games. But I mean, also Werehog had his own like fair share of adjusting strategies. Mostly the game where he won was the Marauder game, where he just switched almost entirely into Marauders, threw in a few Liberators in the mix as well, and that worked really well for him in that game.
yeah, without a doubt, it's all I guess it really does go to show how heavy momentum heavy this build is, how momentum heavy Werehog is as well. If he's able to get into his play, if he's able to not be disrupted early on, and also is able to execute his build well, execute his 1-1 timing, he looked pretty unstoppable as this continued.
I mean, you did notice it in some of the games that like Werehog's macro is really good. Like his macro is fine. It's more that like he has to like perfect the composition. He has to make sure that his like positioning is just right. But like the macro itself is fine.
Yeah, he produces. He has more than enough army most of the time. It's just like you said, that positioning and that killer instinct that is a little bit lacking here. Once he figures that out, though, once he starts winning these engagements, I would be terrified to face him.
For sure. But anyway, it is time. As we may see a bracket, our very big bracket, but it's okay. Anyway, it's time for the raffle.
One lucky player today.
As a reminder, obviously. Yeah, as a reminder, obviously, we only had 2 players today. But in general, the random participant raffle is for all the players who took part in the tournament. By took part, we mean you have to play at least 1 full series, no like half series forfeit or anything. At least you have to play 1 series and then you will be in for the $5 raffle. So any player, it can be the player who was in the finals, it can be the player that lost in the first round. All the players who actually participated are eligible for the raffle. Again, today
could be you.
It could be. Today we only had 2 players, but nonetheless, let's roll. Let's see which one of them will get it.
Drum roll.
And the winner for today's random participant raffle is Kacpeross.
There we go.
F's in the chat for Werehog.
The rich get richer. F's in the chat.
Yeah, Kacpeross was... Fun fact, Kacpeross was also the random winner from the previous SDO, I believe.
Hashtag not rigged.
Hashtag not rigged. I mean, it's also because...
Hashtag not rigged enough.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's also because he plays in these tournaments. Like, the more you play, obviously, like, the higher is, like, the probability that you will eventually get it. So, I mean, make sure to sign up next time, because this is a monthly tournament. There will be no more SDO in the month of April. The next SDO will be on the 4th of May, I believe, unless something changes in the schedule in the meantime. However...
Wink, wink.
However, next week, on Saturday, around the same time, we will be having Master Swan Open, which is also an amateur tournament, also featuring a random participant prize. The difference from SDO is that SDO is for Diamond players, Diamond and below. Meanwhile, Master Swan Open is up to 4.7k MMR, so it's more for Master 2 players. That doesn't mean that lower ranks can play in it though. If you're Diamond, if you're Platinum, if you're go ahead, play in Master Swan Open. Maybe you will go far, maybe you won't, and that's perfectly fine, but maybe you will be winner in the participant raffle, or maybe you will just learn something cool, like some new interesting build from your opponent, or just have a good time. So if you want to, if you're feeling like it, make sure to sign up. The sign up link will be going up probably today, so make sure to keep an eye on it if you want to participate.
Probably today, by the end of tomorrow, latest.
Yeah, I mean, I think I will be making brackets today. Maybe tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah, so just keep your eye on that. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to come in and just compete in an environment that's a little bit different from ladder.
Yeah, and uh, in case you're wondering, usually I post brackets like a week ahead of time. So in case you're looking for that, and if you want to be informed about the brackets, then make sure to join our Discord. Make sure to follow us on Twitter, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Mastodon, Blue Sky, any other social media that you can find us on. And yeah, and we will be posting of our tournaments there.
Yeah. Keep your eyes out. Exclamation mark socials in the chat. Exclamation mark Discord in the chat. That's where you can find all of the CranKy Ducklings accounts.
Fun fact.
And whichever one you choose.
Yeah, cool.
To keep updated. Yes.
Did you know that the socials command also has Discord?
I do now.
There you go. But anyway, yeah, cool. Since
Which
we are
is weird
talking
because
about
Discord isn't very social.
I mean, technically it is social because it's a group of people, right? In one place, so it's social. Because you talk to people,
Yeah?
so you're socializing. And it's a medium.
Is that what you call it?
It's a medium because you post like media images and stuff, so it's a social media, you know?
Yeah. There's
Yeah.
text. There's information being disseminated.
Yeah. Clearly a social media.
Facts.
But anyway, yeah, cool. Since you are
Yes.
here, you haven't been here for a while. You kinda have been kinda busy lately, but yeah, tell us what are you up to?
I am up to figuring out how to convince someone to hire me.
That's yeah.
It's going so well.
Yeah, that always goes well.
Mm-hmm.
Don't worry about
it. But oh man, it was awkward. This Eid for people who don't know, it's traditional in Eid for people to give like whatchamacallit, little envelopes of money to unemployed relatives. It was awkward being the only one to receive those this year.
Oh, oh yeah. It's fine. It's fine. You're not the only one.
Yes, but in the off chance, if I ever do end up streaming again, that's over at twitch.tv/yakuzaku1, exclamation mark Discord in the chat is where you can most reliably find me, but if not, twitter.com at Empora Yakuzaku. Now also on Blue Sky at Yakuzaku. So you can try to ping me on one of those three if you want me to stream at some point.
Ping Yakuzaku to stream. He doesn't read socials, but he does read Discord.
I will confirm that.
Yeah, that is true. I can confirm.
What about yourself, Kuro?
Well, as I definitely have the right social media under my name, don't worry about it. Okay, look. This was the most messy broadcast I've done in a while, and it's fine. It's perfectly okay. But anyway, I'm usually the person behind the scenes. I'm not Light VIP, despite what the screen says. I'm not even changing it anymore. I am Kuro, also known as 16 Squad Sanseki, and I work behind the scenes on CranKy Ducklings, usually on the brackets, on the social media, on the overlays and the likes. Usually not the caster, but for these amateur tournaments, me and Light switch places and Light becomes the admin and I become the caster for a change, so you can expect me to come for twice a month for this. So for SDO and MSO, I will try to make an appearance. And if I'm not on the CranKy Ducklings, then you can find me on my own channel at twitch.tv/16squadsanseki, or on YouTube. I believe it's also at 16 Squad Sanseki, but I have changed my display name to Kuro because I learned that as a thing.
What?
Yeah, apparently you can have a display name on YouTube, so that's what I did.
Should look into that.
Yeah.
Today I learned.
Yeah, but mostly you will find me in the Discord posting about various things, so if you're in the Discord, you will probably spot me there. But with that, this will be the end of our broadcast. Our next stream, important, our next stream is in about an hour, I believe. In about an hour, we will be casting, or rather, Light will be casting the World Team League Code. So if you are interested in some pro level StarCraft, then make sure to tune in. It's always a lot of fun there.
A lot of memes coming down. No Maxons, at least not yet.
Yeah, a lot of memes, but also a lot of really good games, and often surprising games, because in this Team League format, like, upsets happen way more often than in the regular tournaments.
Yeah. It's just something about... I don't know if it's about being able to, study an opponent, or to just, the environment of having the team behind you, but it is... We do see a lot of different... like you said, a lot of different results, but even a lot of different plays and play styles coming out from players who you normally wouldn't expect much for, who wouldn't expect to play that way from.
I think it's a bit of both. Like, one is the team aspect, like, it's kind of like a team effort, but also, like, you only have this one series to focus on, so, like, you don't have to worry about any other matches. It's just this one series that you have to do well at. So maybe it's also, like, in that sense, a little bit easier on the players. And you often see, like, the players that are, not your top 16 of the world doing really well in these tournaments.
Yeah. Of upsets do tend to happen.
But yeah, with that... No?
I was just trying to remember, either last year or 2 years ago, I was just trying to remember who was the one player who took out Cyril in the group stage of WTL.
Someone did.
It wasn't Maru. I think it was one of the Chinese players.
Yeah, someone did take down Sarah. I don't remember who it was. God. Like, asking for the person with the weak memory to remember things. It's a mistake. But anyway, we will be getting some rest now. So, guys, make sure to tune in for WTL, as it's in less than an hour. We will be there as well, so in the chat. So, yeah, enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.
Yeah. Oh, and also, wish Aries a happy birthday. I forgot about that.
Oh yeah, it's Aries' birthday, so make sure to wish him a happy birthday.
Yeah, SC2 Aries, I think, on Twitter and Instagram. I mean, he's in Discord as well.
I think he still uses that, yeah. I don't know, he sometimes changes his
Aries
handles.
or Aries SC2, one or the other.
Yeah, one of those. One of those will probably work. And I wonder what are his latest adventures in motorbike riding. But anyway, we will see you guys soon. Goodbye.
Bye.